Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 17, Round 23 of the Championship. Welcome to the Qatar Grand Prix from the Losail International Circuit. I'm your host, Zach Ossie, here to take you through the next 2 hours of what should be some absolutely fantastic racing with 3 rounds to go in this Drivers' Championship. It is a 3-way race for the title. The 2 Haas cars, Grumio and Landlord, continue to lead James Grumio now leads the way by 2 points in the standings, and anything could go today. There is your championship leader emerging onto the racetrack for qualifying. And indeed, what could be a very important night for Grumio as he nears, perhaps tonight, this could be the night where he achieves his 100th RDL victory, the most successful driver in the series history. And he stands on the cusp of becoming a Centurion for the first time, or for the only time rather, being the first driver to do it. And we'll see if he's got it. He's got the speed to do it tonight after 29 laps of racing. Didn't win this race last season, only been one edition of the Qatar Grand Prix in the RDL. That was won by Imri last season. Imri, who is back behind the wheel of the Mercedes. Grumio out on the racetrack. Now we've got Carter further out front. That'll be Red J in the Ferrari. Red J looking to set the first lap of the session. On his out lap right now, but taking on a lap of the circuit. Very high speed racetrack is Losail. So Red J is the last corner, then we'll take you on a lap of this fantastic facility here in Qatar. Off the final corner, DRS zone just before the line there. So DRS wide open, overtake mode deployed as the lap gets underway. It's quite a long run down to that first corner from the start line down the far end. Of course, the track has been nicely remodified for F1 24, graphically enhanced by quite a way here. So turn 2, get on the curb and on the exit, nice and smooth. Short right hander for turn 3. Late braking there for turns 4 and 5. According into the first split, 31.073 for Red J. Slightly more technical second sector. Perhaps the most technical of the three. You can hear him locking up ever so slightly there. Oh, he's over the curb there. That'll invalidate the lap, so I imagine he'll probably back off here. Not a fantastic start there for Red J. We'll go for the back then. We'll go back to Grumio then, because he's also on his first time lap as well. So we'll carry on more or less where we left off. I get a feeling that track limits will be quite difficult to avoid in tonight's race. Now into this next part of the circuit. Into the third and final sector, 57.5 the second split. Going pretty much flat out. Into the last 2 corners now. Past where the pit engine used to be. And into the last right-hander. Long, sweeping, good exit. And our championship leader will emerge from the final corner and cross the lines at the first lap of the session, a 1:21.7. Che immediately covers him off, 1:21.5. Two of the fastest drivers in qualifying week after week. Pope goes third, 1:21.852. Lucky Lambert fourth. Next car over the line will be Gaming James. Now James in a bit of trouble in the championship, 22 points back. So excuse me, 21 points back going into this race. A driver who was leading the championship for a solid 10-15 rounds of the campaign, now finds himself in third place with just 3 rounds to go, including this one today. So he's got all to do here. Landlord will be joining us later on. Joining us mid-qualifying. Whether he'll make it for the end of Q1 is yet to be seen. So we'll keep an eye out. But James starts his first final lap. It will be crucial for James to beat both house cars in the race tonight. He's got 3 opportunities, 78 points up for grabs for the remainder of the season. So the race is being Qatar, then Abu Dhabi next week, and the season finale, the reverse grid finale in Portimao. Big lock up there from James, struggling to keep the car under control. Of course, number of drivers looking to impress in tonight's race, number of drivers looking to win their respective fights in the standings. Of course, the battle between Ferrari and Aston Martin at the bottom of the championship race is on. In terms of the gap there, I believe it has remained the same as the last few weeks. It's 42 points for Aston Martin and 37 points for Ferrari. So the Ferrari, of course, have some work to do here. Red J's first time is now on the board, 1:24.04. Courtney Goblin, I imagine we'll see him at the pits later on in the session. 18 cars with at the minute. Could be 19 if Landlord joins us, means we're getting 3 to 4 drivers out in this first round. And we have someone new emerging out onto the racetrack, driving for Aston Martin in the reserve role this week, reserving for the banned Obsessed Gamer, banned with one race ban for his count on penalty points. Introducing Yogaloo to the league in as our second reserve. If it's a full set of Aston Martin reserves tonight. So no points will be being scored by that team. So Ferrari wants to try and nab some more points for their championship charge to try and take ninth place back. Then tonight would be a good chance of both with the debuting Yogaloo and 10th Cannon, who impressed in her reserve starts so far this season. So I mean the pace is on offer. From 10th, of course, Yogaloo's pace, we have to see what he's got in the locker. It's always exciting when we get a new reserve into the league, or just a new driver in the league, just to see whereabouts they stack up. Of course, the Sauber of Cot is always driven the Alfa Romeo to then the Sauber in this league. Perhaps I'm looking for a change of pace in terms of next season. A recently confirmed rule for next season being a slight change to the calendar. Every 4 races of next season we're doing a 100% race, so that'll be short qualifying and then a full Grand Prix distance, as opposed to our 3 rounds qualifying and then a half race distance. So it'll be interesting to see how drivers take to handling that. As Cop comes through to start his next final lap. As of right now, it's still Che at the top of the times. Grumio 2nd, Pope 3rd, Lucky Lambert 4th, Curtis 5th, James in 6th, Imri 7th, Ben 8th, JB 9th, and Ethan in 10th. Red J is in 11th. The remaining 7 cars all yet set lap times at the moment. You're going to do 30.6 in the first sector. And we have an arrival in the voice chat. Welcome Season 11 champion Touchby Pope, has already had his first taste of the circuit. Pope, welcome along. How did you find Qatar so far?
Yeah, first time ever racing here, which is quite exciting, and it feels good. It feels very fast. Obviously, it's very race heavy. You've got a big DRS straightened. Truthfully, a big DRS train throughout the race. So, obviously, it will be crucial to start high, but mainly stay within that DRS. That will be the most important bit.
Of course, recently you've driven a number of new circuits. Of course, Las Vegas last week, and obviously Qatar this week. Are you struggling at all with adapting to the new circuits?
Yeah, I think obviously not many people here have raced like only once. I think both times, Qatar and Las Vegas. So people are also still getting used to these circuits, as I am. But I think even that one race is still an advantage, and I know a lot of people here do league racing elsewhere as well. So they probably do have more of an advantage than me, but it's not slowing me down. Obviously P3 post penalties and post stewards last week, so that's a great podium for the team, and hopefully we're going to try and do the same here. Obviously P3 in Q1, I normally build up my speed, so it's a good start.
Excellent. Go on.
Really, it's something.
Second, sorry, you saw a car there.
I was going to say you cut out for me. Technical difficulties. This is what happens when I'm sat in the car and you're in the commentary box. I know
the connection's not fantastic up here from the booth to the garage, but you know we figure that out as we go along. Of course, it'd be a lot easier if you just came back here.
I mean, that's what you wish, but unfortunately, I'm having too much fun racing, and obviously sign-ups have gone out within the league, and looks like we've got a lot of drivers next season, which is fantastic, and obviously people will be reserving. So hopefully some full grids, especially because we're going to be starting soon after the end of this season. So keep an eye out for that on the Zach RC channel. Make sure you obviously like the video and subscribe with notifications on to know every time we are racing.
To be fair, that's the majority of the reason why I get notifications going out anymore. Of course, in terms of drivers for next season, of course we've got a driver debuting today, Yogaloo, reserving for the Aston Martin team. Excited to have a new driver on the grid.
It always is. I mean, obviously, like I remember many races ago, making my debut in Belgium. So I understand. I feel the nerves that they feel even still. And yeah, obviously they're gonna be excited and we're gonna try and show us what they can do, and I'm very excited. And obviously the Aston Martin team, like you said, complete reserve, so big moment for Ferrari to capitalise and get some points on the board. You said it was 42 to 37, if I heard correctly. So yeah, really close between those towards the bottom of the table.
Indeed, I did say you are correct. And obviously, up at the other end of the table, Haas have obviously run over the constructors. They can't be caught by this point. 235 points back to Mercedes, who are now in second place after months or so of chasing RB. You've finally got them. Can you hold that gap to the end of the season, you and Imri?
We're really going to try. It's going to be tough. I think we both can agree on that. It is going to be really tough. James is absolute rapid and fighting for a championship, and that shouldn't go understated in a turn of pace. You do get that championship mentality in these sort of situations, and you usually can find an extra 10th or two every so often. So that'll be interesting to see if we can really deal with that. But I think we're doing well. We had a very good result last week, probably our best result as a team since Hungary. So I'm keeping the PMA the positive mental attitude.
And we'll keep an eye on Imri here as he emerges from the last corner to complete his second lap of the session as he runs towards the line, this time on fresh soft tyres. Goes fastest! And that is a sign of things to come. The defending race winner already topping the timesheets this early on in qualifying. I think that'll be a good omen for things to come later on, Pope. What do you reckon?
Hopefully so, yeah. Obviously, used a pair of mediums early on, which is quite risky, I would say, around the circuit. The tyres do not like the circuit, and the circuit does not like the tyres. They wear out so quickly, so we'll be seeing if that bites back a little bit. Obviously, high chance of a safety car around the circuit as well, but I know how Imri likes to race and likes to attack qualifying. Obviously, I've had a conversation with him about it as we are teammates, and it's quite interesting the mentality he has of he wants to be at the top of the timesheet every time because that gives him more confidence going into the race. So it doesn't surprise me that he's putting an absolutely wicked lap time.
Indeed, and it bumps everyone else down a spot. We have James in 8th place, Grumio in 4th, Landon obviously not with us in a minute. I do want to ask you about the championship picture in terms of these last 3 races. So 2 points between Grumio and Landon. Grumio 2 races away from potentially an 8th championship. Landon pushing for his 4th. James still hunting his 1st, but now quite a way back. I mean, what can we expect in these final 3 races? I mean, you've been there racing for a championship. What is it like?
It's very tough. I mean, you're looking at it from James's point of view. First of all, let's have a look at that aspect. He started off the season so strong and led that championship for so long until Landlord was thereabouts and really challenging until Grumio. All of a sudden, we know what Grumio does towards the end of the season. He just turns on this switch, and it's incredible. I am so fascinated at how he does it, and I'm very jealous, and I wasn't really able to do that in my championship. I had a very good championship, 300 odd points, probably the expected points that these guys are going to get, which is obviously a nice confidence boost to me. I did it in less races, just so everybody knows. But no, I think you really have to. It's anyone's game. It really is anyone's game, and we've got 3 races. This one is going to be all about who gets the strategy right, who gets the pit stop right, and who has the confidence to make that last-ditch move on that final lap. I think that's what this race is going to come to. And keep the car on the track, and no penalties. They're my big things I'm already seeing around the circuit. But yeah, I think the championship's so close, and I think you will be going into that reverse grid finale not knowing who's going to win it, but I think you will have favour towards Grumio if I was a betting man.
If you were a betting man, you'd be going for Grumio for the championship. So, I mean, I personally, at this point of the season, I feel it's not right to make any bets. Because honestly, anything could happen today. You never know. I calculated earlier, a James victory with Grumio, with Landlord 8th and Grumio 9th. Those exact results would deliver the closest championship result leaving Qatar. That'd bring it down to about 5 or 6 points or so between all 3 of them, and that'd be damn close going into Abu Dhabi next week.
Yeah, it really would be, but always have to remember as well, penalty points are looming. One more penalty point for James, that's a race ban.
And that could cost him.
That could really cost him, like massively. It could cost him in the constructors and the drivers. That is something that you do need to bear in mind. You need to remind, okay, one little mistake and I've got a race ban. and your competitors are going to know that. It gets published to us every week, and you're going to know that yourself. It's a lot of pressure. Interesting to see that as we see all the cars barreling out of the pits. There's a moment where everyone was in the pits until you see Red J, who's on an outlap. Interesting to see if Red J can make it through. Obviously, Ethan's on the borderline now on P15 with Yogalu, the debutant. Is that correct?
Yeah, you
That's
go
correct
for that.
English.
Excellent.
Brilliant. In P14, hopefully the Aston Martin can get through on an outlap as well. We'll have to wait and see.
Lucas is joining his first teammate in the RDL 10th Canada's in P6 right now. Her fantastic form continues as it has done in recent weeks. PJ retiring, he's there in P10, he's nice and safe, but there's every chance he could get knocked out if enough people improve. But being a good 8 or 9 attempts in front of the knockout places, I think he'd most likely be okay. He's been good in qualifying this season as PJ. But Red J, Alvar and Courtney Goblin, the ones currently below the mark. Ethan, as you say, is the last one in, and Red J has got to really get the lead out in order to get himself into this next part of qualifying. As does Alvar, as does Courtney. But I reckon any one of them with the right permutation could get themselves up into Q2. But I feel like if anyone's going to do it, it can only be one of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ethan as well, in the pits, Ethan is not setting another lap.
That's a risk.
Keep an eye on that. That is risky. That is risky. I mean, going off form, yes, you could probably say, look, Ferraris, I think have made it out of Q1 twice this season, maybe once. Not often. They've really struggled in qualifying, but in the race, they've really mastered that craft. They've scored points, and starting at the back of such a competitive grid, it's very impressive to even score points. Alvar's the one I'm watching out for because we know how quick Alvar can be.
We'll keep an eye on him. He's going to be quick enough to actually make the line here. I'm not sure how close it is because of the yellow flag. He's got 15 seconds, plenty of time. Oh, a slide there. And that might cost him slightly going down that main straight. We'll keep an eye on his lap. Courtney Goblin and Red J on their laps. Red J is 2/10 up in the first sector. So of course, a bit more work to do. He's got to gain about 1.2 seconds at this point, so there's plenty of time to start to gain. Session drawing to a close. The checker flag has fallen on the 3 cars who are starting on track but have not set times. Cott, James, and Ethan are still running. Count as running the session, but all in the pit lane since the end of their session. Flying Duck comes in P12 for him. Hasn't quite had the form in qualifying this season so much as he did earlier on in the year. Yogalu out with MP14 right now. Courtney Goblin is there. Red J 3.5 tenths up after sector 2. He's gone wide though. He's invalidated, and that'll be it for him. Alvar is 6 seconds up, of course, but his time is 1:36 to beat. So he's got to gain around 14 or so. Courtney Goblin was 58.7 in the second sector. He's going to emerge in his teammate there. Into the final corner. Does Courtney Goblin have enough? Indeed, he's got enough at this point. I reckon this could be it for him. I reckon that's going to be it for him. Courtney Goblin crossed the line. Goes P16 in front of Red J. It's all down to Alvar now. Can Alvar get himself into Q2 with one last push on this final lap? Into the last right-hander he comes. Looking to cap this one off and get himself in over Ethan. Alvar or Ethan, who will make it into this next part of qualifying? It's Alvar who makes it. And Ethan goes out.
Cracking lap there from Alvar under immense pressure as well. It's so daunting. I've been out in Q1 once, I think, this season, maybe twice.
Australia.
It's so daunting, yeah, Australia, to get that lap when you got so much pressure. But that's a fantastic lap time there, 1:22.344 for Alvar, not too far off his teammate Curtis.
And it's Imri in top session though, 1:21.469 over Che and then Cotton top 3. Grumio 4th and James 9th. Those are your 2 title contenders going into Q2. Hope that we have to cut you off there. Thank you for joining us, and we'll perhaps see you on later on, perhaps at one of your points in the race, or perhaps at after the race. We'll have to see when we catch you. But for us though, it's time for Q2. Here we go now, Q2 about to get underway. We've whittled the field down to 15 cars, and we'll see which of them has what it takes to make it through to the pole position shootout for the second ever RDL Qatar Grand Prix. So Imri topping the first session, Cotton second, and Che in third. Oh, other way around. Sorry, it's only 3 seconds ago I actually looked at it. That's poor memory for me. But we'll move on to the second part of qualifying. Of course, both Ferraris and Ethan in the Williams now out. Landlord will also be starting at the back of the grid as well. Of course, he'll be starting dead last, so we'll see what car it puts him in. It's been yet to put him in his correct machine, so we'll see what we'll see if the game will put him in the Haas this week. That'd be quite helpful if it did. But moving on though, we'll get back to the on-track action. First 4 cars out on the circuit, and a bit of a train following them. They're being led out by China pole sitter PJ Khaled. Still looking to add to that tally. PJ moving out of the way for a few cars there, letting Lucky through, and also letting the Red Bull of Che through. So Che now leads them round. It should be a very exciting session here. Of course, Q1 was fantastic. That last little bit of heroics from Alvar to get him in. We'll see if he can take his way into Q3 as well. I'm sure he'd like a much more comfortable session this time around. And of course, let's see how Yoglu does. Debutant in the reserving the Aston Martin. Mercedes there, Pope moving over for the Aston, give himself a bit of clean air going into this next, going into his first lap. Imrie there in front of that's Curtis. Nope, sorry, that was Alvar, and there goes Curtis starting his first lap of the session. So keep an eye out for him here. He's right on board. And that's your first sector, 30.3 from Curtis. Got a car going wide there, so that's the Red Bull of Che in front, who's made an early mistake. Invalidated his first lap time, not a good start to the session. Of course, keep the faith for Che, most likely he'll still be able to pull it up later on. Given his pace in Q1, we could see him as a potential contender for the victory later on in the day. Car off in the dirt there, that is Lucky Lambert. Also invalidating his time. So the first car coming through, I think, and then will be Peter who pits. And that'll leave us with Curtis. Curtis sets the first time of the session, 1:20.7. So a few tenths off what I imagine the top time will be. Che coming through to set another lap. Grumio goes fastest there by a good 7 tenths over Curtis. It's a 1:21.018, and that is pace from the championship leader. Of course, still looking to add another pole position to his tally, and another impressive tally on the books for Grumio this season. So far, from the first 22 rounds, he's nabbed a total of 11 pole positions. One more in the next 2 races would mean he then has an official rate of 50% in terms of pole positions this season. 12 from 24 could be his rate, but of course not topping his best tally from season 14, 18 pole positions from 22 rounds. From 23 rounds. Of course, the only reason for that being is because we don't count the regular season finale. So there are 25 races this season, but only 24 qualifying sessions. So the last race in Portimao will be going straight into the race. Imrie in second place right now. It's 1:20.4. So a few tenths off of Grumio's time. We'll see what he's got second time round. Yellow flag in the second sector. One of the Aston Martins going slow. That's Yoglu there. 1 minute 22.9. His best effort so far. Ben validating his second lap. And Cock disconnecting from the pit lane. That could be trouble. Of course, he hasn't actually set a lap time yet. Pope and James are from the racetrack, one behind the other there. Of course, as mentioned by Pope, James's season perhaps in a bit of jeopardy here. 1 penalty point away from a race ban. And given that he's already 22 points... Sorry, I've got to make sure my tallies are right on this. Apologies. 21 is the gap. It's 2 points for Landon and 21 back for James. I remember that for the rest of the evening. No more mistakes like that. James, though, as I say, 21 points back in the championship. So if he makes a mistake that's worth a penalty point, his season could be over. And it would be a shame for it to not go to Portugal with a chance at the championship, because he's had a fantastic season throughout. And it'd be the same story we've seen in the past before, seeing Grumio and Landlaw go toe-to-toe for the season championship. Of course, typically in these scenarios, Grumio has emerged victorious between the two. But across the entire season, Landlaw's looked like the real driver with the strength over the course of this campaign. He's scored more points over the early to mid portion of the season. Grumio came alive after around Hungary-ish. Of course, a number of race victories, a number of high-performing runs in a row. And of course, a crushing victory last time out in Las Vegas. The only things that kept him close to the pack in the end were the 2 safety cars we had during the race. On board Curtis, still P3 right now. As of right now, only 8 cars have actually set lap times. 2 of the remaining 7 are still in the pit lane, but the other 5 are all out on the racetrack. James 30 in the 30 seconds in the first sector. 30.5 is the count we're looking at there. Let's have a look at the energy usage here. Of course, it's been a factor we've talked about all season in terms of the new ERS modes for F1 24 and how drivers get used to handling those. And what is the best way to utilise them over a qualifying lap? Obviously, the hot lap mode is always in use, but in terms of when to be going for overtake mode and when to be avoiding that. So James needs a good lap here to get himself up into the top 10, which of course race for pole position in the shootout. Off the last corner and charging towards lane, they were looking at 21 here. 22.1, which puts him P6 below his teammate Flying Duck. Pope in P7 right now. We do now have 10 cars that have set times to just make that 11, as we just saw PJ cross the line for P4. Still a diabolical lap from Grumio, putting him 4/10 to the good. And without a shadow of a doubt, locked into Q3. Here comes Che off the last corner. Che still yet set by a lap time. 6 minutes to go. Che with a 1:2:13, sort of bridging that gap between Che and between Grumio and Imri for a bit. Yellow flag in the first sector. I believe that is just that's just PJ letting the Alpine of Alvar go. Alvar on the bubble right now in P10, 1:22.8 his best effort. 17,000 of a second off of JB. Crucially, Cott coming through, set his first lap time, yet set a lap. He's got 5.5 minutes to go in the session, so plenty of time to get himself up there. 10th Cannon on her out lap, yet set a time as well. Ben also, who's still in the pit lane, but yet set one. So those are 3 cars to keep an eye out for at this stage of the session. It can be crucial in terms of time as to who is the last one out there to try and get themselves into Q3. And can JB or Yoglu, who are also in the bottom 5, have anything to say about it? Of course, JB's been back and forth in terms of qualifying runs this season. He's been looking at mostly Q2 appearances and Q3 finishes as well. Of course, had the Q1 elimination in Mexico just 2 weeks ago, or sorry, in Brazil. Che back on the racetrack here, but considerably down in his last time. I assume he backed off at some stage. And that is 10th Cannon coming through to set her next lap and see if this will be the one that gets her into the top 10. Of course, it's been mainly Q3 appearances for 10th in her opening few races as reserve, of course, and we're not counting out the podium finish in Mexico. Cut across the line goes P2. That'll move Yogolu down. Sorry, that'll move Pope into the bottom 5. Alva against the car on the car in the bubble, but a lot closer now. Pope 122.338, Alva 122.322. So it's very tight at the moment. Any one of these cars could get themselves into Q3. Back with 10th. Only a few cars on the racetrack, 4 of them right now. I imagine we'll probably see one last push from everyone. Only Grumio has retired from the session. I think everyone else looking to improve a bit more, because typically we do see a retirement or two more often at this stage. But Imri, who topped the first session, now down to 4th. Here comes 10th now, plenty of batteries to still play with as she comes to the last 2 corners. So a bit of tyre smoke there, but on the exit, keeping it under control. At 121 here, 121.8, move her into P6, and now push Alvar into the bottom 5. Imri retiring, Che retiring. Pope on that lap now. He knows what's at stake. He knows he's got to get himself into Q3. He's in P12 right now. Ben, the only driver yet to have had lap time. And as I say that, here he comes. Emerging out onto the racetrack. Cot retiring, the top 5 now all calling it a day. Grumio, Cot, Che, Imri, Curtis. Then 10th, PJ, Lucky, and the 2 RBs of Duck and James. They're the ones right now that look to be going through to Q3, but there's still several good contenders underneath them. Any of these guys could find themselves getting knocked out. Any of these guys could get themselves into that fight for pole in just a few minutes' time. Pope and Valde to start that, perhaps not a good sign. Let me know down in the chat who you think will be the ones getting into Q3 from here. Can Pope do it? Could JB push himself up in there, join his teammate? Could Yogolu do it on debut? You never know. Ben needs a valid lap time on the board. Don't Cannon back in the pit lane. But for the most part, should be safe in Q3, retired from the session. Should need 5 cars below her to all be faster than her at this stage in order to get her knocked out. PJ P7, Lucky P8, Duck P9, James P10. And your former championship leader will be the first one to come through. And we could see potentially a team game being played here at McLaren. If JB can get a good run off his teammate, that might give him a few tenths, as it did with Grumio, we're told. So last lap's now getting underway. Who will make it into Q3? Just the one DRS zone in the circuit, so the McLaren game perhaps not come into question. Into fruition, rather. Yogolu starts his final lap. 40 seconds to go. Everyone's out on the racetrack. 6 drivers are retired. The remaining 9 are all on the circuit. Pope is 6/10 up. That's enough for him right now to get himself back in the top 10. But James is on a lap himself. Into the last corner. Pope's will keep it under control. Good exit and charging towards the line. What can he do? Up to P4. That moves James into the bottom 5, but James 4/10 up. Got to keep it under control, and then validation would kill his lap. Checker flag is 4, and Alvar will be the last one to come through and set a lap time. As it was in Q1, we'll see if he can pull off that same feat again. James is the last corner. It is crucial for the RB driver to get himself into Q3 to have a chance of fighting Grumio for the win today. Over the line, James to P6, could still be at risk. Lucky to P6, JB to P12, JB goes out. Comes Ben toward the line, Ben to P9, could potentially get himself knocked out. Yogolu invalidates. P15 for the reserve. Flying Duck P12. He goes out. Down to Alvar. So that's Alvar, and it's not PJ. That would be last car through. Last car is PJ, sorry. But he's down in the second sector, and he stays where he is. Alvar 3/10 up. A 10th more, and he could get himself potentially into Q3 from the exact same place he found himself in Q1. Can he pull it off? 10th Cannon watching on the edge of her seat, seeing if Alvar will manage to finish the job once again towards the line. Alvar goes P12. 10th Cannon lives another day, and Alvar can't quite put off that same feat. He lost time in that third sector. 10th is going to Q3. PJ, Alvar, Duck, JB, Yogolu, your bottom 5. Pope balls into the pits. Was it a risk briefly of perhaps losing out, but will join the rest of the top 10 in Q3. Have a look at that top 10 in full now as the results come on through. Both Red Bulls get through to Q3 for the first time in quite a while here. So it would be Haas of Grumio who leads, Cot second, Che third, Pope fourth, Imri 5th, Lucky Lambert 6th, James 7th, Curtis 8th, Ben 9th, and 10th Cannon rounding out your top 10. So those are the drivers who will revive pole position in the shootout in just a moment. So here we go then. Everything on the line for the last part of qualifying. 12 minutes to establish who will take pole position. In terms of teams who got their cars into Q3, only 2 teams got both their cars into the last part of the session. Those 2 teams being Mercedes with Imri and Pope, and that would also be Red Bull with Ben and Che. Just the 1 Haas, the 1 McLaren, the 1 RB, the 1 Alpine, and the 1 Aston Martin. And the 1 Haas. There we go. Everything well remembered. And now Q3 gets underway. Who's the fast car on the circuit? That will be Pope. Pope leading out Lucky Lambert. But let's the McLaren go. So we'll see then who's got the speed. Imri topping Q1, Grumio topping Q2 by quite a way. He had a decent slipstream, we're told, for his Q2 lap. We didn't actually see it on screen. So will he look to try and employ that same tactic again? He hasn't gone out for that initial run with everyone else. He stayed in the pits with Cot, James and Ben. The remaining 6 drivers all out on the circuit now. There is Imri, still hunting his first race victory of the season at the place where he claimed his second RDL win last time out. He's the first ever Qatar Grand Prix winner in the Racers Driving League. Has he got the speed to put himself in a good position? First car coming through says that. That'll be Lucky Lambert in the McLaren. Down that main straight. McLaren have been able to get always get at least 1 car into Q3. Done a fantastic job qualifying wise this season. End of the first sector. 30.4 for Lucky Lambert. A bit of a lock up there going into the left-hander, keeping it under control though. Nice and smooth on exit. How fantastic these guys are. what they do. And Landlord joins us. See him appearing at the bottom of the screen. Will the game put him in the right car this week? We have a Haas going spare. Only the one driver who's not with us in tonight's race in terms of teams. Only the one team with the single car, that'll be Samba. Websy not with us this week. Lucky for the last corner to complete his first lap time. Over the line, we're looking at a 1 minute 2022. 121, sorry, 121.9. For Lucky Lambert. Then Curtis goes fastest, 121.6. Pope goes second, 121.7. And Che goes fastest, 121.4. The time dropping like flies in the early part of the session. Imri over the line, 121.1. And that's more along the lines we see Imri faster than his Q2 time. Grumio validates his first lap, not a good sign. 10th Cannon goes 6th fastest, of course now only just made it into Q3. It was a serious risk of not making it at the expense of Curtis' teammate Alvar. Curtis right now with Pope right up his chest. So 7 cars now set lap times. The remaining 3 all out on the racetrack now. Cut into the first sector. It's always comes a bit more alive in terms of qualifying these late stages of the season. Oh, around he goes! And off into the barrier. Lucky to hit it with the back end of the car, so won't lose a tyre there, but perhaps not a fantastic start to his session there. James invalidates. Grumio is there again. 132.5 was his first lap, but of course wasn't valid, so backed off. So we'll get a bit more of an idea here in terms of pace what we expect from Grumio. 1 minute 30.3 I saw on the screen. It's 1 minute 30.2 is his first split. Working the steering wheel there, really keeping the car under control as he pushes on, knowing what's at stake. James in the pit lane here, his first run having not having gone to plan. Got a bit of work to do in his second run to get him to top the order. I've got to say, Lando has joined us now, so we'll be able to see a charge through the field from him as we've seen in recent weeks. Landlord Cruzy wasn't here last week, and that allowed Grumio to close in that gap. And it goes third fastest, 121.4, and that's on one lap old softs. He's done that. So keep an eye on what he can do on the fresh set I'm actually just left. Curtis coming in, locking up to ensure he stays under the speed limit. Got 4 seconds up on his previous effort after the first sector. Into flat out right. Here we go. The precision it takes to keep that car within the white lines going at that speed. So she's still at 270 kilometers an hour on the track there. But there he validates in the corner following it, and that'll be his first run over and done with. Grumio still out on the racetrack, but I'm actually going to be in this time. 10th Cannon, the only car on or out lap, and we'll lead them all out for the final run. Still waiting on someone else to come through. Sauber bringing Cott back into the garage. I imagine we get one more run. So 3.5 minutes to go in the session, and still all to play for. 9 drivers set lap times. James has not set a valid lap. His first run didn't go to plan, so now has it all to do in this final lap to get himself up the order. Grumio, his closest championship challenger, sits in 3rd place, the championship leader. The same place that James sits in the championship itself. Here everyone comes now out of the pits, for 2 of them at least, for their final laps. 2 minutes 50 seconds to go in the session. James is coming out. 10th already on the racetrack. Imrie, the provisional pole sitter, is on the racetrack too. Will he stay back there, try and get a slipstream off of James? James hasn't quite had the speed so far. We'll see if he can pull it out of the bag now when he needs to. Che coming back onto the circuit. Ben joining in. Ben P7 right now. Che P2. Now, could we see a team game being played here? Because a good slipstream for one of these 2 cars will get them higher up the order. If Ben were to move in front and get a slipstream, and Che was to get a slipstream from him, that could give him the crucial few tenths he needs to slingshot into first. 10th Cannon goes second fastest. 1:21.43. Put 10th Cannon on the front row for the moment. She goes P2 in the leaderboard, but Imrie still P1 by a good few tenths. Everyone besides 10th are on out lap, so everyone's going for it. First car to hit the line in his last round around to be James. And from here on, anyone who starts the lap from here will this be their final lap. Imrie, can he improve any more to further solidify that pole position on any potential challenges that could come his way? Che is there. There's no game being played at Red Bull. These guys are going for themselves. Che starts his final lap. 1 minute to go in the session. A minute to decide who will be on pole position. Grubio coming through the 2nd sector now into the last split. And tenths invalidated, so her run is over. Imrie up slightly in the 1st sector, about 200, just under 200. Cott is 4 seconds up. 10th Cannon retiring. So her part of the session's done. We'll see now how everyone else responds. Will she maintain a spot on the front row? Grumio starts his last lap. It'll be the last car through to the line. 10 seconds. James with the last corner. Does he have enough to get him some high up the order? Across the line. P2 for James. Imrie looking to solidify his place on top of the time sheets. He does. 1:21.061. That's going to take some beating. Caught in the last corner. The checkered flag has now fallen. Cott does it. Cott goes to the 120s. I don't believe it. The first 120 of the night goes to Cott, and it could be the last one as he nats pole to death. Here come Che and Ben. Che on the line. P2 also gets into the 1 minute 20s. Ben to P9 in the order. Pope to P4. They get Lucky towards the line. Lucky to P7. Curtis coming through the last turn now. Curtis stays 9th. James looking at 5th place, perhaps 6th. Grumio half second up right now. That won't be enough based on... Actually, it may be enough. We'll see what it looks like it comes to the line. He just misses out. Only just misses out. Cott takes pole for the Qatar Grand Prix. Look how close this got at the end of the session. Have a look at that. Less than a tenth separate the top three. I think for the first time, I think quite a while, less than a second covering the entire top 10. Half a second covering the top 6 alone. And 10th cannon's potential front row start becomes P7 in the end. Cott goes on pole. He'll lead Grumio to turn 1. Second week in a row, pole position goes to Cott. He'll be hoping this time to not bog down the start, as he did in Vegas. James into the pit lane here. Has work to do. Got to lock in for this last part, this third to last race of the season, which we started in just a few minutes' time. But there is your pole setter, the kick saber of Cott, who sticks it on pole. Have a look at your final top 10. Cott will lead Grimmer's turn 1, Che in 3rd place, Imrie 4th, Pope Brown's at your top 5, then James, 10th Cannon, Lucky Lambert, Curtis and Ben your top 10. That's your order. Who will emerge from Qatar victorious? We'll find out in a few minutes' time. So here we go then, time to get this one underway here in Qatar. The 23rd race of the season, including today, there's just 3 more rounds to go in this championship. 21 points covering your top 3. And there is the circuit. The graphic is always designed by our very own JB to mimic the broadcast style of Formula 1 in the 2000s. Imrie, your defending winner. 29 laps over the course of the next 40 minutes or so of racing, next 40-45 minutes. And we'll see just how much closer that championship gets. We have 2 arrivals from qualifying going into this race. Landau joins us on the grid, that brings us to 19. And Daniel Aaron, who has managed to join us last minute, will pilot one of the 2 remaining cars. I believe he'll be piloting the Sauber left over by Websy, and hopefully Landau will be in the Haas that he normally drives. So we'll see how the game sets him up. But regardless, those 2 will be on the back row for the race as we move across our live feed of the Losail International Circuit. It should be a fantastic race. DRS trains obviously massive on a circuit such as this. Just the one DRS zone down the main straight. But if you can keep within that range, as we saw Cotton Imrie go toe to toe on the DRS last season. Those 2 were far away the class to field. But this season looks like we've got a fair few more challenges in the field. And Landau has been put in the correct car for the first time all season long in terms of these late joins, which is always helpful because I don't remember what team he's driving for. But so he'll start ahead last. But Daniel Aaron, who will be scoring points for Aston Martin tonight, he will be in the Sauber this race. On row number 9, it's the 2 Ferraris of Courtney Goblin and Red J. Both cars start on the hard tyres. This guy's 2 of 5 hard tyre starters in this race today. Ethan lines up 16th, narrowly knocked out in Q1 at the expense in favour of Alvar at the very last second. Yoglu makes his RDL debut from 15th, reserving in one of the 2 Aston Martins, one of the 2 Aston Martin reserves. JB lines up P14 and it's flying duck in front. I think my McLaren of Lucky Lambert go through the gravel there, so not a fantastic start given this formation lap. Alvar lands at P12. Can repeat his Q1 heroics, knocked out in Q2 in the end. PJ Khaled joined him in the bottom 5 at the end of the session. In your top 10, Ben makes it into Q3. Both Red Bulls into Q3 for the first time in quite a few races. Curtis lines up P9. Lucky Lambert in P8. Ted Cannon P7, another reserve Q3 appearance for her. Gaming James lines up P6. They're all through tonight. Looking to close the gap in the championship. 21 points he's got to close before season's end. Pope lines up P5, Imri P4, Mercedes cars looking to outdo the RBs and maintain P2 in the constructors after Haas won away the title. Che lines up P3, Grumio second, and for the second week in a row it is AMS Cott who will start from pole position. Last week didn't get off the line in Vegas. Grumio took the lead at the first corner and went on to win. Now while Vegas is still different to Qatar in the sense of one's permanent belt, one's a street circuit, there are certain characteristics such as that DRS that still remain, and it will be crucial. It'll be very important at minimum to see who will emerge from that last corner with the DRS first time round as the cars take their places on the grid. Landlord 2 points back from his teammate, starting 18 positions behind him going into this one. But we've seen him come from the back before. He did it in Brazil. Can he do it here? As Dan and Landlord at the last 2 places on the grid in the back row. Time to bring the action here in Qatar. The 5 lights come on for round 23 of the championship. Lights up, foot to the floor. We are underway. Good start from Cott. Gets off the line quite well. Grimmy gets a bit bogged down there. You could see Che might move to the inside. Going to turn 1. Grimmy around the outside. Che almost takes it 3 wide into that first right-hander. But it's Cott who leads by about half a car. Then will clear Grimmy out of turn 1. But Bador might be able to try and dive on the inside. Cott gets through nice and easy over Grimmy. Che third. Emery fourth. James to 5th. And Pope down a number of spots here. Pope down to P11 on the race start. What has happened to season 11 champion? It's his first time competing here in Qatar. But running into early problems, he's down about 5 or 6 places. Lucky Lambert now in the points paying places. There goes Curtis. Diving down the inside of James there. Into the... Oh, Cook goes around! The race leader slides off the circuit. It was a fantastic getaway. He led them away and now finds himself at the back of the pack, dead last, with it all to do with 28 laps to go in this race. And Grumio now leads from Che and a dueling Imri who goes side by side with the Red Bull into the left-hander. Che gets away, but Grumio now pulling away to an 8/10 advantage already. Cott now finds himself at the back of the field with it all to do. He's got made 1 place already, passing Red J in the Ferrari to P19. Maddox P15 already. What a start from the former champion of the series. Connie Goblin and Flying Duck side by side in front of him. We'll watch if he manoeuvres these two. I thought for a second he's going to try and make it 3 wide, but doesn't go for that. Down the inside of Flying Duck into the last right-hander. Grimio leads the way. He sets the fastest lap to kick things off. And DRS in play now. So next time they come around. Flying Duck into the pit lane. He might pick up damage here early on. We'll keep an eye on that. Grimio not being able to get away just yet. Che bringing him back in. It's about 6/10 or so. Emery P3, James P4. Tyre change for Flying Duck. Puts him onto a set of hard tyres. I think he meant to repair that wing, and they haven't repaired it. And that'll be a concern for him. That won't be a good start for the RB driver. But his teammate right now doing what he needs to do. But crucially, this is the race where he can't just be close to Grumio. He needs to be in front of Grumio in order to close points. He'll close on Landlord, but he won't close on the championship lead. And that's the crucial thing for today's race. Landlord into P13 right now, so plenty of time for him to get back up towards the front. We've seen him do it before. It's about 1.6 seconds, 1.5 seconds to JB and Pope in front. Pope's already dealt 1 McLaren tonight. Daniel Aaron from a P19 start to P10, so fantastic start for him as well. Well, his temporary teammate for tonight, Cott went the other way. Courtney Goblin's P14 right now. Remember, Ferrari need points in this race to stay close to Aston Martin in the Constructors' Championship. 5 points separate them. Grimio with the fastest lap. On to lap 3. Does DRS move into play? Yes, it does. Down the main straight. James to the inside of Emery. Going into that first corner. Looking for the last spot on the rostrum. Into the first corner he goes. Moving in front of the Mercedes. He might try and switch back, but James defends it. Covers the inside going into turn 2 and will maintain 3rd place. Che closed, but wasn't enough to make a move on Grimio. But had to try and maintain that advantage over the course of this next lap. And on the main straight next time round, try and get back into P1 for himself. We're trying to lead for the first time today. Caught back up to P14. He's right there behind Lando, about a second and a half back. Yogolo in the pit lane here. And a tyre change onto set hards. Flying Duck coming back in to repair that wing. So troublesome start from Flying Duck. You see, he now finds himself almost about half a lap behind the leaders. And they are making that wing change. That's a hard medium tyres going on. Wing being changed, and he is away. Could have found himself under pressure of being lapped here at this point. Very early on in this race. Only on lap 3. This time Che a lot closer. Let's keep an eye on this territory. He's used a fair bit of battery so far. He's used about half his tank. That top 4 all together there. 2 seconds back to 10th cannon in P5. Down the main straight. Che with a good run on Grumio. There goes James though. James will take it 3 wide of the lead. There he goes. Down the inside. Gaming James looking for the race lead. Side by side with his championship opponent through turns 1 and 2. The 2 title rivals going wheel to wheel. Who comes out on top here? James on the inside has it. Through turn 3. Grumio back to the inside at 4 but can't get his nose in there. Move Gaming James into the top spot from P6 on the grid to P1 by lap 4. Ben turns 3 second penalty. JB 3 second penalty. Ben P7 right now doing a fantastic job. Still looking for a second point score of the season. Poke back in the points himself. JB out of favour a bit there. He's now got Landlord prowling right behind him. Kind of 3 seconds back to Cott. Could really need to get his skates on if he wants to get back up towards the front of the field. In terms of fastest lap, that belongs to James too. So an 8-point swing right now. They'll bring the championship gap down to 13 points between James and Grumio. It'd be better for James if both Che and Imrie can take their bite to the cherry and get in front of the Haas. There's still a long way to go, and I imagine we could see another lead change here. Off this last corner to complete lap 4 and start lap 5. DRS now in play, but Grumio under pressure from Che. Down the main straight, we could see the same sort of thing again. Could Che try and take a 3 wide for the lead? James defends the inside in the first corner, but Grumio there the long way around. Imrie trying all the way around the outside of Che. But Grumio this time has his way on the inside. Both of them side by side again, and this time Grumio comes out in front. Squeezing James a bit there, just showing him that he's not playing around, and James knows he can't be too aggressive. He's 1 penalty point for a race ban. The race ban would mean season over for James unless Grumio and Landlord didn't score in this race or the next. Speaking of Landlord, he's still there in P12 right now. Cott's fallen back to P15. He's not sure if he's got wing damage there. He may have lost an end plate. He has lost an end plate. Damage here for your pulse hitter. Race goes from bad to worse for Cott, who was up there fighting for the checkered flag in this race last season. Nothing of the sort so far. Landlord right the back of down there. Looking for P11. Considering his championship rivals up there 1 and 2 at this point, he needs to really get the lead out and push into those points. Without safety car, it's going to be tough to try and catch this top 4. Though saying that, 10 keep him right behind them. And Curtis there as well, looking for P5 off the Alpine. James gets back in front of Grumio at turn 1. And he's perhaps looking for Cott for Che to get himself involved. Che and Imrie sat there front row seats for this titanic fight, just letting it unfold right now. Imrie still hunting win number 1 of the season. He's got 3 attempts to do it. See Che looking around. It's be crucial for James now. He looks to try and get away. Cop 3 second penalty. Becomes the 4th driver to get one so far in his first 5.5 completed laps. JD making the pass on down for P12. Landlord 1.3 behind Pope right now. Pope is challenging Ben in the Red Bull. And that lockup smoke is not helping the case. Recent update made the smoke a lot darker, a lot more difficult to see through. Down the main straight again up front. There goes Che to the inside. There goes Grumio, 3 wide again. This time Che has the inside into the first corner. James has to cede. Oh, contact. Slight bump there. Knocks Grumio to P3 for the minute. He's on the inside of James. Once again, these two side by side. And this time James holding his own. He's got the inside going to turn 4. Something's have to give here. This could end badly for both cars if they're not careful. James gets in front. Imri trying the outside of Grumio into turn number 6. On the outside of the Haas there on the exit. The Silver Arrow looking for a good drive. Will be side by side with him. And Grumio has to cede there. James would need the lead here at this point. Che now pulling away to a 1.3 second advantage. He's now got it all to himself. That move he made was the ideal for him. He goes on to lap 8 now in the lead by quite a commanding margin by Qatar standards as well. And welcome into the fight new challengers, 10th Cannon and Curtis now joining that train. James defending from Grumio there, moved across. Oh, it's the contact. They do make contact. Grumio slides up. Imri goes back alongside. Can Grumio clear Imri? Can't clear Imri. Mercedes gets back in front. Could 10th Cannon try and join the fight? If she can get close enough. Grumio not having things his way this week. Vastly different scenario to what he found himself in Vegas. Now James needs to lead this train. He is the Pied Piper of Qatar right now. Needs to get himself back within a second of Che, which means either putting on some more pace or hoping that Che makes some kind of bobble, some kind of mistake that could move him back into position on the DRS. Otherwise, it'll be a sitting duck for Imri down this main straight. Lucky Lambert watching this train from distance right now. He's P7, 1.8 off of Curtis. PJ in 8th, Pope in 9th. Ben's holding that last point, but Landau's closing the gap. 2 cars in the top 10 still on hard tyres. That'll be Pope and Lucky. That's looking so longer in their first stint, shorter than the second one. Imri making the pass on James. Grumio again coming in. James defends the inside. A wobble there from James, allowing Grumio on the outside this time. This is where James took the place from, but this time he clears Grumio off of turn 2. Goes back to the inside. This time he's there. Contact. That was tight between the pair of them. Grumio throws the hand up in frustration. For a second there, I thought both their races were over. Be very careful, guys, racing each other. This could get very, very ugly if we're not careful. 10th and Curtis squabbling for P5 right behind them. Che and Imri now away. This is not what James wants. Even if he gets in front of Grumio here, he can't gain that many points. Grumio wins that fight. James has lost out. Things have not gone well for him in these last few laps. Flying Duck gets hit with the penalty now. James now has 10th and Curtis on his tail. I mean, right on his tail. These two not giving in at the minute. Che 1.4 to the good. Over Imri, Imri's got Grumio about 8 tenths back, so we'll have DRS down this main straight. James needs to close that gap using his overtake. Mashing the throttle down the main straight. And will close himself back in. What a race this has been so far. Pope in P7 now for Lucky Lambert. And Lando into the points paying places over Ben. And he now emerges with this train of cars, so we'll take him to P8. Sorry, it's P7. So this will take it to be the last car before this train. Grumio right there behind Imri. Che continuing to pull away here. And he's now getting a taste of what Grimio had last week. 1.5 second on the gap here on lap 10 of this Grand Prix. 19 more to go across the line here. And the game closing in a bit on Flying Duck, who still runs dead last minute. He needs a safety car to get himself back up in the action. And for the most part, we haven't really had any potential risk of that. On to lap 11. Down the main straight, Grimio to the inside of the racetrack looking for P2 off of Imrie. James might try and go for a double whammy as well, get himself back on the podium. Into turn 1, he does get it over Imrie there in the Mercedes. Land on into P9 behind them. Just about a second, he needs to close now, and Lucky Lambert has got close up in by a few tenths to get DRS back. Lucky currently crowning post mirrors, giving the season 11 champion works to here as he still gets to grips with the circuit. I thought Imrie looking around there, potential move on James for third place. Grimio pulling away from James now. Not what he wants to see. But Grimio could be the one to try and bridge the gap between Che and the rest of the pack. He's closing in already, but in that, James has also got to keep pace because he's now falling out of DRS range himself, and that'll mean that the cars behind him will squabble and chances are lose more tenths, which means they won't be able to catch up, and that'll leave Grimio to go tango with Che for P1. Of course, Grimio last start won his 250th start. Now here in start 251, he's looking for his 100th Races Driving League victory. He's clear atop the all-time wins list. Here comes James to the pit lane, and the pit stop sequence now starting to get underway. James will be the first one, and he's followed in by Landlord and by PJ Callaghan. But all three of those cars on medium tyres. He's a good stop here, this James. Artar's going on his way. Nice and clean there, no issues. I fear had it been any closer, potentially James could have been held up by a Landlord going through into his pit box, but no chance of an unsafe release there, and James emerges back where he was. So into P12 right now. The highest running car who's made their pit stop. So this brings everyone close together now, because Grimio now is within range. Grimio is within range of Che. Imrie is within range of Grimio. So everyone back together again for the minute. Will they all be close together though when they make their stops? That's the question. I imagine that we're looking at a one stop for this race. These guys will pretty much be able to go again on those hard tyres. Back on the main straight. Do we see any takers this time round? Who bites the bullet? Chase stays out. Grimio stays out. Imrie coming in. He'll be joined by 10th and Curtis. Oh, quite a lock up from 10th and almost sliding into the back of Imrie coming into the pit lane. That could have been costly for both cars because 10th could have broken the pit road speed limit, and if she'd shoved Imrie, she could potentially got Imrie a penalty too. Imrie away. No issues there on the stop. 5 cars then. Yet to make stops. 6 cars, sorry. Alvar, Dan, Lucky, Pope, Grimio and Che. Grimio now right on Che's tail. Pope was already quite a fair few places back from these guys, so he's 2.7 tanks behind right now. He's still got Lucky Lambert breathing down his neck. That's never a nice sight to have. Former series champion, it's often forgotten. Season 10 champion. These guys were champions one after the other in this series. It's been a bit of a while since Lucky's last victory. I believe coming back in season 12 in Portugal. Or sorry, coming in Imola was Lucky Lambert's last victory. So a long time ago. We're talking back on F1 2021 at this point. We're on F1 24 now. So I'm sure Lucky would love to break that race win drought. Now, Che and Grimio, in terms of that lead pack, have gone the longest on their medium tyres. Do they call it now? Come into the pits for their second stints. Che comes in, Grumio stays out. Split opinions here between the two leaders. Now, where does Che emerge? Because crucially, he'll need to be in front of James, in front of Imri, in front of 10th. He'll need to get himself in front of all those cars. It's away. James and Imri coming towards the last corner now. It's going to be close. I think the cars on track might just do it. Where is Che? Is he the exit line? There he is. And he will narrowly emerge in front. That was close. Che reclaims the net race lead. He's got James down, breathing down his neck now. Emery right behind him. A normal service between these three race cars is resumed. Che's lead is dust. Grumio now being left to it in front. 3 seconds to Pope in second place. 6 tenths to Lucky Lambert in third. Alvar fourth. Ethan fifth. 7 cars on the racetrack. Still yet to make their first stops this race. The only the two that weren't in the top 5 being Courtney Goblin and Red J, both of whom started on the hard tyres. Looking to go on mediums later on. A safety car in the late stages would do wonders for them because it would mean a free stop and a fresh set of mediums. Oh, there's Lucky Lambert. I think spun off the last corner as Grumio comes in too. And Lucky gets 10 seconds of speed in the pit lane. That's not good. The change being made for Grumio. He's got the last spot. He's got the last stall in the pit lane. Where is Che? Che down the main straight. Has it paid off for him? There's Grumio and James through on the inside. James takes the lead into turn 1. In the net first place now goes to James. Che and Emery come out in front of Grumio, and that's just what James needed. So James then now has net P1. When things cycle through, he'll emerge as the race leader. And in terms of the championship standings, that should bring the gap down by my count to around 8 or 9 points. As of right now, though, third place for James given 15 points, Grumio will give 8, so it's only a 7-point gain, 8 points at a minute because James has that fastest lap. Pope coming in. Ethan has been caught by the leaders. Curtis with a penalty. He was there in that lead pack, but the pit stops have fallen off a bit. 10th Cannon's right there. Could she be a dark horse for a second podium finish? She claimed one in Mexico and just a second start. James now into second place. Pope coming out the pit lane. James will reclaim the top spot as he passed halfway in the Qatar Grand Prix. 15 laps to go. Chain second, Imri third, George fourth, so Grumio fourth. I think 10th, 5th, Curtis 6th, and Pope in 7th. But James obviously has to keep everyone else at bay here over the next 13, 14 laps. And Grumio needs to get himself to the front of this train and hope that 10th Cannon really doesn't get her skates on as well and start pushing on, trying to close on the championship leader and defending champion. She's in DRS range, no penalties to her name, so she's in this fight for the win. Keep an eye on her. James' first attempt at the onslaught. Che is right on his tail off the last corner and down the main straight. Imagine we could see a lead change this time. James trying to break the toe, trying to shake it. Che to the inside though, takes away P1. Will Imri take P2? Imri's closing the gap. Won't pull to the inside. James stays right where he is. Pope making the pass on Curtis there. Flying back now a lap down at this stage. Oh, and moving over. But again, I think that's a penalty for ignoring blue flags on this one. I just confirmed my race director. I think it was for blue flag. Apologies for this brief break for the action. Yes, it was. Okay, sorry. I thought it was a yellow flag. Don't want to miss anything. But that is the crucial thing. I dealt with it myself in the Creator Series race a few weeks ago. Very real problem. But Che now in the lead. But because those guys aren't squabbling behind him, I doubt he'll get away as easily, if at all. Imri are using a lot of his ERS right now. While the cars around have all got pretty much full batteries, Imri is going about half of his. We see this time around James challenging Che, as Che was challenging James a lap ago in the exact same manner. And these two now be gunning for the race lead down the main straight. Over the line. 12 laps to go. Pope with the fastest lap. He's on the move up towards the leaders. James reclaims the lead. No moves further back. This is what James wants. James wants to keep Grumio at bay there in P4. 26 points in the stands for James. And 12 for Grumio. Will be in a 14-point swing in the championship, bringing that gap down to just 7 points. This is what James wants. James needs to keep things how they are as best they can. And that gap could reduce to just 5 if 10th Cannon can get in front of Grumio too. Lionel in P9. Things are looking good for him. Hasn't been able to charge through the field as easily as he has done in previous weeks, in particular in Brazil. But of course, the safety car we had played a crucial element in that race. No such thing so far. We're almost 2/3 of the way through this thing. No sign of a safety car. But we've seen this before. We've had races where it looked to be all calm, and then something happens in the closing moments that will bring out the safety car and give us all of a sudden a grandstand finish. Saying that, I thought we could get a grandstand finish even without that today. Coming on to lap 19. Is it Che's turn to take the lead away? Both cars using overtake here, but Che's got the slipstream and DRS to boot. Down the main straight, Che reclaims P1. Grumio looking to pass Imri down the inside of the Mercedes into the first corner. Diving in and taking P3 away. James this, and all of a sudden how things change. All of a sudden, James goes from gaining 14 points on Grumio to just 3. And that's how crucial the position of these guys is going to be at the checkered flag in 10 laps time when they next cross the line. And Pope is closing. He was about 2 seconds back, about 2 laps ago. He's now almost in DRS range. On a set of medium tyres. And the choice he made to start on those hard tyres is paying off for him now. He's got the pace and he's within DRS range now of 10th Cannon. We now have a 6th car in the fray. Flying duck, another 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. So for ignoring blue flags, rather. Running dead last at this point. Moving over to allow 3 cars through. Down the main straight again. Che reclaims the lead. We're on lap 20 now. Hope is there within range, and the more this train runs, the easier it is for him to close in. And that's by the end of the lap, he'll be right there. Don't go anywhere. The next 9 laps that come after this one are going to be very entertaining indeed, as everyone all fights for the race win. Some of these guys fighting for a championship lead. Some of these guys fighting just for themselves, try and get a race win. Mercedes in there, they're fighting to get themselves on the board with another win this season. Pope looking for win number 4 on the campaign. Imri still looking for win number 1. 10th Cannon gunning for her first RDL victory. Che leading the charge for Red Bull, as he has done since his return. His full-time return to Silverstone yielded immediate victory. He's He's taken 2 since rejoining us as a full-time driver. Looking for number 3 today. It has the potential to be a very exciting last third of the race. Keep an eye on this stream. Don't go anywhere. 6 cars, all in the running for the race win. No safety cars brought them together. It's been all DRS. 10th count goes wide there at the last corner. Pope will take away P5. Down the main stretch once again. Che takes the lead. Grumio to the inside. James was over, forcing Grumio even further growth. Contact between the 2 cars there. Contact again. James now forced to P3. I feel in a situation such as this, only cool heads will prevail. James to the inside of the racetrack again, looking for 3rd place. Oh, big slide there, and that may break him up rather. Everyone's still in DRS range. James to P5 now. And was that a bit too ambitious on the part of Gaming James, who now finds himself, who was in the lead about 2 or 3 laps ago, he's now down to P5, and Grumio in P2 in prime position to try and take the race lead from Che. Che has all the chaos in the world going on behind him. Flying duck, 3-second penalty. What's warnings? He's got a 32-second count. A few of those down to the blue flag penalties. Down the main straight now. That RB has it all to do. Lap 22. Grumio looking for the lead now. Closing in down the inside he goes. Pope and Imrie side by side into turn 1. Pope gets through. James in 10th, falling back a bit. Could they be in trouble? That penalty there. These guys all still close together, so regardless of what just happened there a few laps ago, they're all still quite close. In short of any major collision, neither one of them particularly been able to pull away. None of them have really been able to open an advantage without there being some sort of contact that breaks them up. Dropping back ever so slightly. James has caught back up. 7 laps left to go. And it may come down to, in 7 laps time, who is in 2nd place going towards turn 1. All eyes are on the front here. Che reclaims the lead around the outside. James to the inside of Imrie into turn 1. These guys have raced hard and raced fair all day today. James gets around the outside and clears Imrie. Up into P4 once again. Pope in 3rd place here. He came from 6th place, came quite a way back, and now is looking for the race lead. And I must say, I didn't have Pope down on my bingo card to be in contention to win this race, given this is his first Grand Prix in Qatar in the RDL, but he is here. And he's on the move too. Landlord in P8 right now, further back. I reckon the best he can probably get out of this is P7, sorry, which he would most likely take off Curtis because of that penalty, because of that time penalty, which sits at 3 seconds. So Landlord looking to be losing points, losing ground in the championship. He can't find himself in 3rd place today unless James wins this thing. But all this will do is bring the championship that little bit closer. If the results, the correct permutation results are what James needs, then that championship can close down to within 10 points. But it needs cooperation for James to move up and for Grumio to move down. On to lap 24, Grumio takes the lead away. Out braking chain that first corner. Pope looking to try and sneak in on the inside. Can't quite do it at the moment. Landlord Keeping Lucky at bay. These two side by side. Two former champions going wheel to wheel. And Download maintains P8. But Lucky's there. How long can he hold it? How long can he hold on for? We'll switch back to the back every so often. We'll keep an eye out on the timing screen for those guys. Meanwhile, it's all Grumio right now. Yellow flag, and that is Qatar around. Off into the barrier. Lost the front wing as he gets himself out of the gravel and back on the move again. Oh, around he goes again. And that first lap spin for the pole sitter was not at all what he needed. P16 for him right now. 5 laps to go and the leaders cross the line. They're all right there together. Anyone could win this race. Che on the main straight once again. And James passing Pope. Might go for Grumio too. Won't go for Grumio. But Grumio locks up big time there. If things go back and forth as they are, continually for the next few laps, then it'll be Che who takes the lead on the final lap. Landel makes the pass on Curtis side by side for P7. Curtis gets in front. Landel tries to switch back though. On the inside, contact! Landel goes around and Lucky Lambert takes full advantage, but it may have been classed as an illegal overtake because he's given the place back. So they're back to how they were, but Landel now at DRS range. We need to close back in on Curtis. Unfortunate collision there between those guys. James now in 3rd place. He's losing 3 points. It stands 2 points. Sorry, thanks to that fastest lap point. Is he still holding that? He's not holding that. That belongs to Pope. Sorry, that's belonged to Pope for a little while. So because I remember seeing it flash past. So yeah, 3 points being lost for James right now. That'll bring the championship gap up to 24 in Grumio's favour. And the Larian penalty there for multiple points. Oh, James getting close there, tapping the back of Grumio's car. Let's let him know, hey buddy, I'm right here. And I'm on the move. I want that P2 off you. But Pope is also circling like a shark, sensing blood in the water here. 4 laps to go. Down the main straight. Grumio not close enough this time. Now, it's a strange predicament to find yourself in at this stage of the race when you're gunning for the lead like this. Because you want to be in the lead going on to lap 29. And you want to be in the lead by that first corner. But the question is, with 4 cars breathing on your neck, baying for your blood and for that place in the closing laps, how long can you sit there behind the lead car without potentially risking losing a place? Yellow flag, and that is, I believe that's it. That's it. Oh, that's Emery who's come round. And Emery, who was up there fighting for the podium places, now going around and being caught by the pack. And a chance of podium finish out the window for the Mercedes driver there. Off circuit. Not sure if he's got damage. He has got damage. He's lost an end plate there. So imagine he may have hit the barrier. Frustrating for Emery there, who's been up front all night. Topped Q1. Came so close to pole position. But Landor now knows that P6 is at play. And that just leaves 5 cars, 5 different manufacturers, mind you, in the race to win. Ted gets a bit loose. He slides off the last corner, but keeps it under control, keeps it within DRS range. Lap 27, and Che leads. James needs to get himself into P1. He's got 3 laps to do it. This is business time. This is the most crucial part of the Grand Prix. This is where the points are given out. Landor passing Curtis, holding off Lucky through turn 1. Lapped car and Cop P19 right behind them. Curtis looking around trying to find openings. Can't quite do it. Landlord takes P6. And will likely stay there because of Curtis and Lucky's penalties that they both have accrued in this race. Only a 10-second penalty could allow them to really close anything on the top 5. Che in front by 6/10. He's been far and away one of the best cars tonight, if not the best car. Grumio and James have been pretty strong too. James cannot afford to have Che bolting off into the sunset just yet. He needs that place off Grumio first, and he needs the race lead from Che in order to gain those points. And he could do if Pope and Tenth get involved too, making some moves. His championship could be resting on it. It's very tough to gain a race win as worth of points in just 2 races unless the leader has some kind of retirement or no score. James all the way to the inside of the racetrack into turn 1, switching to the outside. Into the corner they go. 2 laps to go here in Qatar. Bit too deep into one. Can't quite do it this time around. That could be costly. But Grumio did what he needed to do, defended there. Oh, and Landlord losing places there. So both Curtis and Lucky, but knows he's got to keep with them and he'll take those places back. Imri now has the P10 staying out on the racetrack. Oh, frustrating end tonight for Mercedes. They're fighting for the win. I'm sure they would love to get both their drivers on the podium. But given the 3 cars Pope's has to navigate here, that'd be quite a big ask, given how strong these 3 have been tonight. There can only be one winner, and while Pope and Tenth have kept up with them all night, I feel it's going to come down to these 3 cars for the race win. And Grumio's got a full tank of battery. James has got about half his left. He needs to go for one of those big 3-wide moves once again here. He pulled it off early in the race. He's going to need to do one more moment of heroics to try and nab the lead. This could be a grandstand finish here. Grumio could be a lap away from win number 100 in the Races Driving League. Che's going to break the toe. This is the bell lap. One more to go here in Qatar. Grandstand on their feet. Grumio to the outside looking for the race lead. Not a chance of Che defending that. Grumio leads in 1. Locks up a little bit. Che is right there behind him, looking to counter any mistake. But Che's has to pick his moment very cautiously here. James looks to be set for 3rd. Cobb retires in the pit lane, calling it a day. Race over for him, but the eyes are all on what's going on in front. Now Che needs to pick his chance. He needs to pick it well. He may only get 1 chance at it if he's going to go for it. The slide there, that could cost him. Grumio half a lap away now from gaining another 10 points on James and gaining about another 20 on Landlord. All of a sudden the championship swings massively in favour of the reigning champion. Flying Duck nabs the fastest lap, so there'll be no 4 points on offer today. But Grumio now 2 corners from his 9th win of the season. And a big milestone that has never before been achieved in the Races Driving League. Salve Grumio, the 7-time world champion, on course to win number 8, runs the line, win number 9 of the season, win number 100 in the Races Driving League. Grumio takes the flag in Qatar. Che comes home 2nd. James Homer disappointing 3rd. Pope in 4th. 10th Cannon finishes 5th. Another fantastic result for her as reserve. Curtis will beat Landlord to the line. But obviously Lucky and Curtis with a 10-second penalty, so Landlord takes P6. Curtis 7th, PJ 8th, Lucky Imri 9th. Lucky will have the last points on offer here. Ben comes home 11th. Alval finished 12th. Ethan 13th. JB by himself in 14th there. Cotley Goblin 15th. Yogaloo on debut 16th. Red J 17th. Daniel Aaron 18th. And Flying Duck will be the last one of the line in 19th. Not a good day for him today. Those early stops really costing him, but nabbing the fastest lap to boot. But after all that, win number 9 of the season for Grumio. He had 91 wins on his tally at the start of the campaign. He's got 100 now. Centurion Grumio wins in Qatar, and now gaining 10 points on James brings the championship gap between James and Grumio to 31. Lando will finish in P6. 8 points from there, so it's another 13. So 15 points now. The gap in the championship between Grumio and Landlord. An 8th World Championship looks very much in reach with just 2 races to go. Abu Dhabi, of which he is the defending winner, and Portugal. Of course, the reverse grid finale. But a big day today in the way of the championship. What a race. Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I did. There is your winner and your first ever Centurion in the league. 100 wins for Grumio, provided that the win makes it through Stuart to Port tomorrow. What a day all around. And as the celebrations begin then, we will take you over to the post-race interviews after that fantastic Grand Prix. That our first driver joining us who didn't perhaps have the race he might have wanted. Red J, welcome into the stream, mate. Perhaps things didn't go your guys' way today at Ferrari. The opportunity was there for the Aston Martin to try and jump the Aston Martins, but didn't come to it today.
No, it didn't. Not a very good race from either of us, in all honesty. Yeah, quite poor in qualifying again. And not great in the race, unfortunately. So, yeah, really disappointing because I thought maybe it was a chance for us to potentially, you know, it's really one of our last chances to try and get some points over, you know, some decent points over Aston, especially with Obsessed having a banned race. So yeah, we couldn't really capitalise on it, unfortunately. We're nearing that final race of the season with the reverse grids, so we're just looking at the standings as well. I think Obsessed Gamer might be on pole for that race, and he probably will be in a great position, I think, to maybe score a podium if he can continue the form that he showed in Vegas. So yeah, it was one of our last chances today, and we were just nowhere, unfortunately, which is, yeah, quite disappointing.
Obviously, the reverse grid finale there, big opportunity to score points in at the last round. We've seen fights tighter than this change, so I'd say don't give up hope at all just yet. But obviously, Abu Dhabi next week, one more race to go in between there. Yas Marina, what are we thinking there as a circuit?
To be honest, I think this is my final race of the season. I think, unfortunately, I won't be able to make the final two races, which is a massive shame.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, really, yeah, so not great. So, unfortunately, all hopes are on Cottony. I was really looking forward to the final race of the season as well, but commitments, unfortunately, have gotten in the way. But hopefully, Cottony can do something. He had a great race in Monaco earlier on in the season. He had a good race in Saudi as well, so he is capable of a really good points finish, and so hopefully he can deliver that in one of the final two races. But I think it's going to be very difficult because I think Obsessed Gamer I think his first points finish is going to be a really strong one. If he can continue on in Vegas, and of course Dan as well, we know, is also a really good driver. And yeah, so it doesn't really put us into the best position, but I think we gave it our all. But we're not losing hope. I think obviously there's still a chance. You never know what could happen. But if it's another performance like tonight, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, do you have any words of inspiration for Cottony Goblin, given the it'll be down to him to score those points?
Well, I mean, it all kicked off the other week in Maranello. He was screamed at after the what race was it after? I think it might have been after Brazil. So I think the higher ups have already, you know, had words of him at what's expected and what is at cost. Nah, I don't know. I mean,
I was so confused as to how much that was real. Sorry, I was so confused as to how much that was real, how much wasn't.
Sorry?
I was so confused as to how much that was like real, like whether you guys had a discussion and what wasn't. You can't have on for a second.
No. I mean, look, he's a very experienced driver. I think he's one of the most experienced drivers on the grid. Really good consistency. So yeah, I'm sure he doesn't need any words of encouragement. I think he knows what he needs to do. I'll be certainly watching the final two races of the stream. I mean, maybe if I can make one of the final two races, it'll be great, but I think it's extremely unlikely. So yeah, we'll see. But ultimately, it's been a really good fight, I think, with Aston throughout the course of the season. And if I don't get to fight them towards these final two races, then I look forward to fighting with them both next season. And all the best as well to to how whoever's going for the title as well. I think that'll be very interesting to watch.
Indeed. Well, if this is the last time we see you, of course, thank you for showing up for the interviews and obviously giving it all in the track every week. We do appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you back here either in the last 2 weeks or for next season.
Yeah, well, I'm signed up for next season. I'd like to be here next season. So if it's not one of the final 2 weeks, then yeah, you will hopefully, all being well, see me for season 18.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for joining us once again today, and we'll move on now to Gaming James, who comes home 3rd place at the end of the Grand Prix. James, commiserations there. Podium finish, but given the implications for the championship, I'm sure you'd rather it was the win. James? There we go.
I'll mute there. Right. Sorry, what was the question again? Completely forward.
That's all right. Well, yeah, I was just saying commiserations because I mean, obviously the pace was there today. I think we can't deny that. Obviously, a podium finish, nothing to sniff at. But I'm sure in this case you would have wanted the win, given the implications on the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, well, definitely would have wanted to win today, but I mean, podium is still good. Also, I think I should get P2 how many times Landlord hit me, but still a good result. As long as I can basically make Grimio and Landlord lose, and help me, so well. But still happy enough. I didn't actually practice this race at all. Just listening white girl music and everything during the race, so probably helped me a wee bit. But yeah, happy enough with it. You
did show us some of us in the Discord briefly what songs you're listening to. Would you care to give us a selection of some of the songs that came on during the race?
Right, yeah, give it to you now here. Listening to some Katy Perry, so it was like a wee album of her. Let's see something. Right, Teenage Dream, Last Friday Night, California Girls, and Firework. Absolute peak songs right there.
Do you know what? This for me, this is peak journalism right here. This is the sort of story that I go out there to try and find on a regular basis. So just to get a bit more into the private lives of the RDL drivers and their music preferences. But obviously, back on the racing, 2 races to go in the season: Abu Dhabi and of course Portugal. Portugal's the big unknown because obviously not a regular track on the circuit and on the calendar. Are we looking ahead to that race as one we could try and push through the field and win the race, hopefully win the championship?
Yeah, I'm just going keep pushing and all. I mean, I'm looking forward to these last 2 races. The last one should be quite fun. Try and carve our way through the field. I quite like Abu Dhabi as well. So, just to be honest, I'm looking forward to it more. Not really thinking about the championship anymore that much. Being honest.
So we wouldn't be as much disappointment if we don't win the championship. We're saying, yeah.
No, not at all.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll still say second or third. We ended up top 3 places. It's still a very solid first full season in the RDL. I mean, it's not often we see a full-time driver come through first full season and be running with Grimio and Landlord of all people. So, yeah, so, I mean, it's still a spectacular season regardless. And we could get a win or 2. It's finished on a high note. Are we sensing victories next time out?
Well, yeah, hopefully. I mean, probably still me grinding cold, but I mean, if I can get a win, that'd be brilliant. So, yeah, especially in Portugal, that'll be a brilliant one.
Have to wait and see. Well, congratulations again on the podium finish. We'll move on now to Curtis, who came home in the points about. Curtis, you were up there racing with some of the ladies for a short while and fell back fighting Lucky and Landlord towards the late stage of the race. Talk me through that, because I saw some of the fight and it looked fantastic.
Well, early in the race, I didn't have the pace to be where I was. To be honest, I was just abusing the DRS train and just sticking with them. And then when we all pitted, I just lost it on the hard tyre warm up. I lost the DRS to Hemp. I can't think his name is.
Yeah.
Her name is, sorry. And then from there, I was just falling back. I had no pace on the hards at all, and I had a fun little battle with Landlord and Lucky at the end. Mostly clean. I have just been made aware that Landlord's happy with something that I did, but as far as I'm aware, it's mostly clean, and it was good fun.
I think I know what he might be referring to. We did catch it on stream, so I'll say probably.
I think I had a moment exit at turn 3, and I think I half spun, and then we made contact, and he spun. I saw him in the gravel behind me. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that is more or less
that's what I think happened. But...
Obviously, we'll let you guys and let the stewards unpack that there. We won't look too into that. Obviously, Lucky, you're fighting him for points. Going into this race, he was just 3 points back from you. So is it good to get a few more points on him and also to be closing on PJ as well?
Well, Lucky had a lot of penalties, so it was more the battle was more for fun than anything else, to be honest, because I had a very, very boring race. But yeah, it's always nice to beat people around you. I'll be honest, I didn't know I was around him, but it's always nice to fight people. It's always nice to come out on top in multiple battles. It's always good fun.
I've got the spreadsheet next to me all the time. That's the only reason I actually remember
Fair enough.
all of that. Obviously, 2 more races to go in terms of Abu Dhabi and Portimao. Are we looking at a particular track there to go and have some more points, perhaps even a podium finish?
Well, you never know. I think Portimao is a track I love in real life, and I love it on other games. But we'll see how it goes on. I'll be honest, I haven't played it since it was last on the RDL calendar, so I don't know how it's going to go. But you never know. Abu Dhabi is obviously Abu Dhabi. It's a hit or miss for me. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not making any predictions.
So it's a hit and miss for quite a fair few drivers in terms of a circuit.
I think it depends more on the game than anything else.
That makes sense, yeah.
The style of game we've got.
We'll have to wait and see who it favours and who it doesn't. Well, congratulations on the points finish and good fighting throughout the day. And move on now to last of all. Pope, thank you for waiting. You're back in the stream, and you had pace in that second stint. Was that just a tyre difference, or did you put something in your cornflakes this morning? I've got to know.
I cheated basically. Put my hacks on, and I went, "Yep, there we are. Let's turn them on." I
You
was
know
like,
what?
"Oh, you know."
I knew it. Formula Cream gave you the grip hack mod again. You did it again.
No, I mean, honestly, the grip on lap 1 was horrific. So I just thought, you know what? I'll let them have this, make them feel good about themselves, and then just
don't do that.
turn up.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you get touched at the start, or was that just lack of traction?
Oh,
when
no,
you
that's-
went
That's
nowhere?
lack of traction.
Okay, right.
So
You-
how
you-
100 meters? I
You all
pulled my
became a
grip.
chicane on the start finish. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
God.
that was horrific. It was horrific. I mean, honestly, like I think I was pretty far through the second phase, and the next minute, I'm facing the pit lane. I'm just sideways, and I have no idea what happened. So I do apologise if I was a bit of a chicane, but yeah, what can you do?
Oh, Curtis, thank you for briefly doing my job for me. It's going to be a good work experience for you, like it was for Pope. Pope, of course, 2 races to go. I think one of those we said you're missing potentially. What's the word on that?
Yeah, next week I'm not here. I am in beautiful York instead of rainy Manchester. So yeah, not here for that one, unfortunately. But the good points all kind of, I believe, will pretty much cement my P4 in the standings.
For the most
Maybe
part,
just.
maybe
For the
just.
most part, yeah. It would be very tough.
I mean, Shorts and Websy
which is
will win
nice.
next week, more or less.
Yeah, it will be. It's nice just to know that I've had a good season on my return, and yeah, exciting to go into the next season now.
And last question for you, obviously, because next time we see you, you will be doing your regular RDL end of the season parody song. Have you got a song in mind for us? Can you reveal the song yet?
I cannot. No, I'm actually gonna let the people in the league choose
Oh,
for
yeah.
once. And yeah, and on my week off from racing, I will be drafting up some lyrics to the rival party in the UAE.
I see. Well, will the lyrics have any be based on the season at all? Or we got end like
I will happily try and do that as best as I possibly can.
That'd be funny. If you did that, honestly, I may honestly pay you like a tenner or something.
Brilliant.
Maybe.
Quote that on stream.
Depending how good
Let's
it is,
go.
I might pay you. It's got to be
Fantastic.
good though. It's got to be like, you can't just phone it in. I know you won't, but you can't just phone it in. Maybe
I'll be.
maybe what we'll do is we'll do the song and then we'll get everyone to judge it, and that'll determine how much you're compensated. So,
I'm happy with that.
So if the opinion of it is mid, you've got to pay all of us.
No, wait.
We'll discuss
No,
that off of
that's
camera,
not-
and that'll be all. That'll be on stream. That'll be the end of this week's stream. I hope you guys did enjoy it. 2 rounds to go in the season. Next time out, we're going to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, 25th of November, before the season finale on the 2nd of December. Make sure to join us for those. I've been Zach RC. Have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you next time. Good night from Qatar.